Hello, friends. On August 16th, in an act of incredible leadership and personal courage, under fire, Vladislav Polsky, commander of an assault company of the 475th Assault Regiment, Code 9.2 of Ukraine, drove a civilian unarmored pickup truck at full speed into the combat zone, which was saturated with invaders' drones, to personally evacuate two seriously wounded soldiers. The two fighters from the regiment had assaulted and successfully taken a Russian position. While they were returning, they were hit by Russian Molnia drones, suffering serious injuries, including compound fractures in their legs, so both men were unable to move on their own. An unmanned ground vehicle was immediately sent and managed to rescue them, but as they were returning to their lines, a second drone hit the robot, immobilizing it in open terrain and leaving the soldiers completely exposed. A second drone attack was imminent. That's why, without waiting for orders, without electronic warfare systems, and without even putting on a bulletproof vest, Polsky left the command post, got into a civilian truck, and drove at full speed toward the danger zone. He reached the damaged robot, moved the two wounded soldiers into the back of the truck, and managed to get them to safety. The two soldiers would likely have been attacked by another Russian drone if they stayed there 10 more minutes. The commander's decisive action was described by witnesses as an example of leadership, since he refused to send some of his men to face a risk that he himself would not take. The 475th Assault Regiment, Code 9.2, is a formation that evolved from a reconnaissance platoon within the 92nd Assault Brigade to become a regiment distinguished by its operations that integrate the use of attack drones and ground assault units in multiple sectors of the front. An absolute legend. A crew from Ukrainian Army Aviation made a brief stop to buy some watermelons from a group of farmers, who told them they could take as many as they wanted. The heat in recent weeks has been very intense at the front, and the defenders need to stay well hydrated. So some fresh watermelons from Kherson will be a big help for these aviator friends. Summer also continues in the Russian coastal city of Sochi, although unfortunately for Ivan, the defenders' calm was interrupted by the incursion of a Ukrainian attack drone of the Lyuty type, which approached the city flying at very low altitude, activating the area's air defenses. I doubt that the Russians who spend their vacations in Sochi will return to their swamps feeling very refreshed. In the Sea of Azov, the ships trying to transport fuel for the invaders are sporting a new look for the last weeks of the season, which consists of the installation of anti-drone nets around the entire superstructure where the ship's bridge is located. I get Ivan's point, but have you seen how big the mosquitoes are over the Sea of Azov? I doubt that net will be useful. A couple of nights ago, Ukraine's defense forces carried out a successful long-range mosquito attack against the Novate production and transshipment complex in Ust-Luga in Leningrad Oblast, causing a fire in one of the main Russian energy processing centers in the Baltic. The attack was confirmed by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and targeted the fuel processing and transfer infrastructure of the port to prevent the invaders from continuing to convert and export refined petroleum products that are essential both to keep their economy fueled with foreign currency and to maintain their military operations. According to the Ukrainian General Staff, their units attacked the facilities on the night between August 13 and 14, and the assessment indicates that at least 2 processing units were hit, with a fire reported inside the facilities. And military reports also confirmed damage to the gas condensate fractionation units, a combined hydrocracking unit, and a loading line at the associated port terminal. These units form the core of the complex's capacity to refine stable gas condensate into light and heavy naphtha, jet fuel, gas oil, components for marine fuels, and liquefied petroleum gas. This raid marks at least the sixth Ukrainian attack on the Ust-Luga facilities in 2026. The port is among Russia's main energy export gateways in the Baltic and has been the target of repeated attacks since March. By targeting the fractionation and hydrocracking capacity instead of just the storage or loading infrastructure, the operation aims to disrupt the conversion of raw condensate into higher-value, exportable, refined products, which generate revenue and logistical support for Russia's war effort. As an aside, it's really strange how Russians tend to film themselves in front of some disaster, but at least it gives us confirmation of the effects of the attack. In the early hours of Thursday, August 13, Ukrainian Defense Forces carried out a precision long-range drone strike against the Wildberries logistics complex. In the Chizminsky district in the Republic of Bashkortostan, about 1,400 kilometers from the border with Ukraine, the attack caused a considerable fire at the facility, which was partially under construction. Satellite images later confirmed that the fire destroyed approximately 30,000 square meters of the Wildberries logistics complex in Ufa. The Wildberries logistics complex in Ufa, a center located within the agro park of the Center for Agro-Technologies near Ufa, and it functions as one of Wildberries' regional distribution centers. Construction of the complex began in 2024 and was still ongoing, although some parts of the facilities were already operational for sorting and distribution. Emergency services, including a K-32 wildfire firefighting helicopter, worked to contain the fire. Regional authorities reported that 21 Mosquito drones took part in the attack, and that Russian air defenses in the area managed to intercept 16 over the city of Salavat. The remaining munitions hit their target. But it wasn't the only Wildberries center visited, because during the early hours of Sunday, August 16, a huge swarm of Ukrainian mosquitoes came to visit the Moscow region and proceeded to set fire to Gene. The main center, the Agro-Technology Center of the company Wildberries, located in the town of Kolodino, about 40 kilometers south of the Kremlin. Imposing columns of smoke and flames spread throughout much of the vast complex, which covers approximately 250,000 square meters, and it was recognized as the largest distribution center of Wildberries, where a large number of types of items were stored, sorted, and dispatched throughout the entire Federation Z. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine confirmed that its mosquitoes also reached the Wildberries distribution center in the town of Domo-Didobo, which allowed the residents of Moscow the privilege of seeing both distribution centers go into party mode. So far, 7 out of the 10 largest Wildberries logistics centers in Russia are out of service as a result of the Defenders' sanctions campaign. More than 20 of the company's distribution centers have been attacked across Russia, from the Moscow Oblast to more remote regions of the country. And it is estimated that the company has already lost a third of its storage capacity, which represents more than 1.2 million square meters. In addition to goods that were destroyed or damaged, valued at approximately $5.7 billion. Even so, the defenders are not limiting themselves to direct attacks, and have recently also launched a campaign of cyber attacks against the company, which have disrupted the platform's payment and customer service systems. Wildberries has repeatedly denied any involvement in the invasion, but President Zelensky has once again singled it out as part of the backbone of Russian logistics supporting the war effort, facilitating the movement of dual-use components related to drone production. If you want to see additional content about the war in Ukraine, I invite you to visit our 2 new channels, where we present information about the war in a different format. Don't forget to check them out. Remember to visit our Patreon, where for just $1, you'll have access to a large number of uncensored videos and documentaries. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel.